"Medic down! Fall back!" The order cut through the chaos of gunfire as Army Rangers crouched behind crumbling concrete barriers. Staff Sergeant Isabella knelt beside a bleeding soldier, pressing gauze against his chest wound while bullets screamed overhead. A round struck the wall inches from her head, sending concrete fragments across her medical pack. She lifted her gaze, and something deadly flickered in her brown eyes. Dropping her medical kit, she reached for the M4 rifle lying beside the wounded ranger. In less than 10 seconds, 4 enemy combatants were down. From that moment, Charlie Company never forgot her name. This was Isabella Martinez, 26 years old, assigned as field medic to Ranger operations in Afghanistan. Her brown hair was pulled back in a regulation ponytail, and her steady hands had saved dozens of lives over 8 months of deployment. But there was something else about those hands. Something no one suspected. At Forward Operating Base Wolverine, most Rangers saw her as exactly what her uniform indicated, a competent medic who patched wounds and evacuated casualties. She carried herself quietly, efficiently treating everything from minor cuts to serious trauma injuries. "Keep the doc away from the heavy stuff," Sergeant Hayes would joke during briefings. "She fixes people, not problems." Isabella rarely responded to comments like that. Instead, she meticulously organized her medical supplies and studied casualty reports with unusual intensity. Her attention to detail was legendary among the medical staff, but what they didn't notice was how she analyzed bullet trajectories and wound patterns with the precision of a ballistics expert. During a routine examination of Corporal Williams, Isabella discovered something troubling. The bullet fragment she extracted from his shoulder wasn't standard insurgent ammunition. The precision manufacturing and advanced design told a different story. "There's a professional marksman operating in this sector," she told Williams while cleaning the wound. "This wasn't random fire. Someone's hunting us with military-grade weapons." Williams winced as she applied antiseptic. "You sure know your bullets, Doc, but can you use them?" Isabella's hands paused for just a heartbeat. "I know enough." What none of the Rangers realized was that Isabella carried a secret buried deeper than any medical training. Hidden in her aid bag was a small brass casing, worn smooth from years of handling. She kept it on a chain beneath her uniform, a reminder of skills she'd sworn never to use again. Before medical school, Isabella had been someone else entirely. Staff Sergeant Isabella Martinez, United States Marine Corps Scout Sniper. Not just any sniper, but one of the few women to complete the Marine Corps Scout Sniper School. 2 deployments in Iraq, 43 confirmed kills. A precision marksman who could thread bullets through impossible angles. Her brother Miguel had been her spotter, her partner, her anchor during those intense missions. They'd grown up hunting in the mountains of Colorado, where reading wind patterns and calculating distance were as natural as breathing. Miguel had taught her that sniping wasn't about the rifle. It was about patience, precision, and the ability to slow time when chaos erupted around you. But Miguel died in Fallujah, struck by an IED while covering her retreat from a compromised position. She'd watched through her scope as the explosion tore through his vehicle. She'd held his hand as life faded, his blood soaking into Iraqi sand. That day, she made an oath. Never again would she take a life. From then on, she would only save them. She buried her sniper qualifications, destroyed her service records, and enrolled in combat medic training. For 3 years, she convinced herself that Isabella the healer had replaced Isabella the hunter. But skills like hers don't disappear. They wait, dormant, until survival forces them awake. The mission briefing seemed routine. Extract wounded civilians from a village under insurgent control. Intelligence reported light resistance and minimal sniper activity. Intelligence was catastrophically wrong. Charlie Company advanced at dawn, with Isabella positioned 50 meters behind the assault team. Her role was clear: treat casualties and evacuate when necessary. But the first shots came from angles that defied explanation. Corporal Jackson dropped instantly, blood spreading across his vest. Isabella sprinted towards him before the echo faded, instinct overriding every protocol about covering concealment. "Doc, stay back!" Captain Morrison shouted, but she was already sliding behind rubble to reach Jackson. A bullet cracked past her head, so close she felt the displacement. Another struck the concrete where she'd just been crouching. These weren't wild shots. The medic was being deliberately targeted. As Isabella compressed Jackson's wound, her mind automatically analyzed the incoming fire. Subsonic rounds, suppressed weapons, range approximately 800 meters, elevated positions. 3 shooters working in coordination, steering the Rangers into a kill zone. "Sniper team on the ridgeline, 800 meters northeast. They're channeling us into an ambush." "We don't have eyes on target," Morrison replied, scanning through his scope. "Keep Jackson stable." But Isabella could already see what the others couldn't. The bullet impacts formed a pattern. They were being herded towards a secondary position where the insurgents had prepared a deadly crossfire. Jackson gripped her arm, his face gray with blood loss. Another round shattered concrete beside her. This time she spotted the muzzle flash behind a destroyed water tower. Not one sniper, 3 of them, positioned in perfect overlapping fields of fire. Jackson's rifle lay within reach, its familiar weight both tempting and terrifying. Isabella's hands moved towards it, then stopped. "I swore I'd never—" A 4th shot spun Corporal Martinez around as he tried to advance. Time seemed to crystallize. Her medical training screamed at her to reach Martinez, but the tactical knowledge buried in her soul whispered louder, "If you don't act now, everyone dies." Her hands closed around the M4. It felt like coming home. Her body shifted into positions long suppressed. Left hand on the grip, right hand high on the stock, cheek pressed against familiar steel. The scope's crosshairs found the ridgeline. Her breathing slowed to a crawl. Heart rate dropped. Battle noise faded to background static. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. In that pause between heartbeats, she found absolute stillness. First target, movement behind the water tower. Range 847 meters. Wind negligible. Elevation 12 degrees. The crosshairs steadied. Her finger found the trigger. The rifle bucked against her shoulder. 800 meters away, the first sniper pitched forward. Before his body settled, Isabella was already acquiring the second target. Years of suppressed muscle memory flowed back like water finding its level. Second shot. The spotter dropped, binoculars tumbling from his hands. The third insurgent, realizing his team was compromised, tried to relocate. Isabella tracked him through the scope, leading his movement by 2 meters. Third shot. Silence returned to the battlefield. Captain Morrison's voice shattered the quiet. "Jesus Christ! 3 targets, 3 shots, under 20 seconds. Isabella lowered the rifle, hands trembling as adrenaline faded. She looked at Jackson, who stared at her with amazement and uncertainty. "Where the hell did you learn to shoot like that?" Martinez called out, wounded but conscious. Isabella grabbed her medical bag, moving to treat his injuries. "My brother taught me that some problems can't be solved with medicine alone." As she worked on Martinez's wound, Morrison approached, his expression unreadable. "That last shot, you ricocheted off a steel beam to hit him behind cover. That's not basic marksmanship." She didn't look up from her patient. "I grew up in the mountains. Sometimes survival meant taking shots others thought impossible." Secretly, she touched the brass casing beneath her uniform. Miguel had always said true snipers weren't made in schools. They were forged by necessity, shaped by loss, refined by purpose. When the wounded were stabilized, Isabella stared at her hands. They had shifted seamlessly from tools of healing to instruments of precision, then back again without hesitation. Jackson pushed himself upright, wincing. "Doc, I have to ask, when's the last time you fired a rifle like that?" Isabella remained quiet for a long moment. Then she whispered, 3 years, 4 months, 18 days ago. "Bullshit," Jackson muttered. "Nobody maintains that level of accuracy without constant practice." She met his eyes, calm but troubled. "Some skills don't fade, Jackson. They just wait underground until someone you care about is about to die." The mission continued, but everything had changed. The Rangers no longer looked at her the same way, and Isabella wasn't sure she could see herself the same way either. Morrison pulled her aside as they prepared to move out. "I need the truth. Who are you really? Those weren't lucky shots. That was professional work." Isabella sat on broken concrete, finally ready to reveal what she'd hidden. "Before medical training, I was a Marine Corps scout sniper. 2 deployments, 43 confirmed kills. My brother Miguel was my spotter." She touched the casing at her throat. "Our last mission was a high-value target elimination in Fallujah. Miguel provided overwatch while I took the shot. Everything went perfect until the retreat." Her voice caught. "IED got his vehicle on the way back. I watched my brother, the best spotter the Marines ever trained, die because I led him into danger." The Rangers listened as she continued. "After the funeral, I destroyed everything. My shooting scores, my service records, my sniper qualification. I swore never to take another life." Martinez, bandaged but functional, managed to speak. "But you didn't lose the skills. Every gunshot wound I treated, I could identify the weapon, estimate the range, calculate the trajectory. My surgical precision came from years of trigger control. but I convinced myself I'd never use those abilities again. Jackson voiced what everyone was thinking. So what changed today? Isabella looked at each of them. You did. When Martinez went down, when I realized you'd all die because of my oath, I understood that sometimes saving lives requires taking them. She opened her medical journal, revealing pages covered with ballistic analysis. I've been tracking sniper activity in this region for months. Every fragment I've extracted painted a picture. Professional marksmen, possibly foreign contractors, systematically targeting our operations. Morrison studied the notes. This is intelligence-level analysis. Why didn't you report it? Because I'm a medic. It wasn't my job to be a tactical analyst, but maybe it should have been. She stood, brushing dust from her uniform. Those three weren't random insurgents. They were part of something larger, a coordinated effort to eliminate high-value targets. From her kit, she pulled a wrapped item, an advanced rifle scope, military grade. I pulled this from a wound last week. The soldier was Special Forces. This equipment doesn't come from local weapons dealers. The realization hit hard. Isabella hadn't just saved the squad. She'd uncovered a network. Morrison made the call. Isabella, I know you swore off killing, but we need that precision covering our extraction. Your skills might be the difference between getting home and getting buried. She was silent, fingers touching the brass casing that held McGill's memory. Then she looked at the Rangers around her, wounded soldiers who'd become family. McGill had always said every bullet carried purpose. Some wounded, some killed, but the most important ones saved lives. She picked up the M4 again. Today, my bullets protect my family. The extraction took 4 hours. When it ended, Isabella had fired 31 rounds at ranges from 400 to 1,200 meters. 31 threats eliminated. 0 coalition casualties after she took Overwatch. Back at base, she quietly cleaned the rifle, restocked her medical supplies, and filed casualty reports as usual. But now there was a new line at the bottom. Threat assessment and neutralization completed as required. The Rangers couldn't stop talking. The story spread through special operations like wildfire. The quiet medic who'd become a ghost sniper in heartbeats was now legend. Isabella tried returning to routine, but nothing was the same. Soldiers approached her with respect and awe. Some asked for her methods. Others simply thanked her. She responded the same way each time. I did what was necessary. One morning, Jackson entered her tent carrying a wooden box. He said, "The company wanted you to have this." Inside lay 3 brass casings, each engraved, medic, sniper, sister. These came from yesterday's shots, the ones that saved us all. We had them marked. Isabella picked up the one marked sister. Why sister? Because that's what you are now, Jackson said softly. Family takes care of its own. That night, Isabella arranged a small memorial. McGill's photo, his original brass casing, and the 3 new ones from the Rangers. For the first time in years, Isabella felt clear about her identity. She was both healer and protector. The method didn't matter. The outcome did. Sometimes, the person who saves lives is also the one who removes the threat.